All right, everyone get ready, because today we're going deep into ancient India.
That's right.
We're talking about the Mauryan period,
Yeah.
3rd century BCE.
A fascinating period.
It is. We're focusing on art and architecture.
Lots to uncover there.
Absolutely, and this is going to be super helpful for anyone studying for the UPSC exam.
Especially the art and culture section.
For sure.
Definitely.
But even if you're just a history buff.
Anyone who just loves history.
Yeah, there's something here for everyone.
Oh, yeah, for
We're
sure.
going to be pulling some incredible insights from this document.
Arts of the Mauryan period.
So we'll be going through all sorts of things.
Chillers, sculptures.
Cave architecture, the whole 9 yards.
It's amazing what they accomplished back then.
Now, one of the things that I find so interesting about this period
Yeah.
is that it wasn't just about these big, powerful emperors.
It wasn't just about the empires themselves.
Right. It was a time of massive cultural and religious shifts.
Absolutely.
You had these new faiths
Buddhism, Jainism,
emerging and challenging the old ways.
challenging the existing order.
Yeah, picture this. 6th century BCE India.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got these new religions popping up.
Right.
Empires are rising and falling.
A very dynamic time.
Exactly. And in the middle of all of this chaos,
What's happening?
we have this amazing art scene exploding.
A vibrant art scene emerging.
It is. And what's even cooler is that
Yeah.
this period gave us some of India's most iconic symbols.
Oh, absolutely. And a key figure in all of this,
You're talking about Emperor Ashoka.
Ashoka, exactly.
He embraced Buddhism,
Yes,
and he used art as a powerful tool.
to spread the message.
Yeah, to spread the message of Buddhism throughout his empire.
Think about those incredible Ashoka pillars,
Okay, yeah.
inscribed with his edicts.
They were basically ancient billboards
That's a great way to put it.
promoting Dharma.
Promoting righteous conduct.
Those pillars are seriously impressive.
They are monumental.
I mean, we're not just talking about columns holding up a roof.
No, no, no.
These are massive
Freestanding.
rock-cut structures.
This takes some serious skill,
Yeah, the source mentions that they were made from a single piece of stone,
unlike the Achaemenian pillars.
which were assembled in sections.
Right.
The Mauryans took this to a whole new level,
Oh, yeah.
showcasing their power.
And their mastery of stone carving.
On top of each pillar, you find these elaborate capitals
Intricately carved.
with animals,
Bulls, lions, elephants.
each one with symbolic meaning.
It's fascinating.
I bet seeing one of those for the first time
Imagine that.
would have been mind-blowing.
A true statement piece.
But of all those pillar capitals,
There's one that really stands out.
the lion capital at Sarnath,
It's iconic.
it's literally India's national emblem.
And it's a masterpiece.
It is
Those 4 majestic lions,
standing back to back.
representing the Buddha's roar, reaching all corners of the world.
Wow, I love that.
And below them,
Yeah,
you have the Dhammachakra,
the Wheel of Law,
representing the Buddha's teachings.
a powerful symbol of the spread of Buddhism during Ashoka's reign.
It is.
And the detail is mind-blowing.
The expressions on the lions,
Yeah.
polished surfaces.
It's like they were trying to capture movement in stone.
That's a hallmark of Mauryan art.
Yeah.
That attention to detail
Yeah.
and that signature polish.
It's like they wanted these sculptures to last forever.
to gleam for eternity.
So we have these majestic pillars
Hmm.
promoting Ashoka's message.
Right.
But what about the people?
What about everyday life?
Yeah, what kind of art were they creating and experiencing?
Well, alongside the big imperial projects,
Yeah.
there was a thriving, popular art scene,
Interesting.
heavily influenced by the worship of yakshas and yakshinis.
Those are nature spirits, right?
Yes, associated with fertility and abundance.
And we're not talking about little statues here.
No, no.
Those were monumental.
Often found near sacred groves or water sources.
The source mentions one Yakshini statue in particular,
Which one?
the Didarganj Yakshini.
Oh, yes.
It sounds incredibly lifelike.
Almost as if she could walk right out of the museum.
The Didarganj Yakshini is truly remarkable.
She is.
Carved from polished sandstone,
Yes.
standing tall and graceful.
Holding a fly whisk.
It's amazing the level of detail.
The sculptor captured
Her posture, the folds of her clothing, her jewelry.
It's all incredibly realistic.
It makes you wonder if the sculptor was trying to capture a real person.
A real woman from that time.
Yeah, like a snapshot of life in ancient India.
And that realism is a key feature of Mauryan art.
It is.
It reflects a shift in artistic focus,
Interesting.
a growing interest in depicting the human form with more accuracy and detail.
So we've covered these pillars and life-size Yaksha statues.
Right.
But the Mauryans didn't stop there.
They were ambitious.
They were. They took on the challenge of carving entire structures out of solid rock.
Rock-cut architecture.
Exactly.
Think of caves transformed into elaborate spaces for worship and meditation.
That's incredible.
And a great example of this is the Lomas Rishi Cave,
Where is that?
near Gaya.
Okay.
It features a unique entrance called a Chaitya arch,
Which is basically a giant arched doorway.
shaped like a horseshoe.
Now, hold on.
Yeah.
For those of us who aren't architecture buffs,
Okay.
can you explain what's so special about a Chaitya arch?
Well, the Chaitya arch is incredibly significant.
It is.
It became a defining feature of later Buddhist and Jain cave architecture.
So it's like their architectural signature.
Exactly. And in the Lomas Rishi cave,
Yeah.
this arch is adorned with a stunning frieze.
The frieze.
A band of sculpted decoration
Okay.
depicting a procession of elephants.
Elephants. Okay, now we're talking. What's the story behind those elephants?
Elephants were powerful symbols in ancient India,
They were.
representing strength, royalty, even divinity.
Wow.
In this frieze, each elephant is meticulously carved,
Yeah.
creating a sense of movement and grandeur.
And what's even more impressive
Yes.
is that this frieze also serves a structural purpose.
Yeah.
It helps to support the weight of the rock above.
Exactly. It distributes the load and prevents collapse.
It's like they're saying, hey, we can make it beautiful and practical.
They were masters of that.
And speaking of practicality,
Yeah.
this cave wasn't just an artistic showcase.
No, it wasn't.
Ashoka actually donated it to the Ajivika sect.
Another religious group popular at the time.
So the Mauryans supported a variety of religious practices.
Their patronage wasn't limited to Buddhism.
Interesting.
They encouraged artistic and architectural development across different faiths.
Which is pretty cool considering this was over 2,000 years ago.
Absolutely. It speaks to a more inclusive approach to religion and art.
Okay, so different faiths.
Yeah.
We can't forget about the rise of stupas and viharas.
Buddhist and sometimes Jain monastic complexes
That started appearing during this period.
across the landscape.
Stupas, those are the dome-shaped structures, right?
That's right. They started as simple burial mounds for relics of the Buddha, but they evolved into these incredible architectural marvels.
I can picture them.
Layered with symbolism and meaning.
They almost look like giant mounds.
Think of them like three-dimensional mandalas,
Okay.
representing the cosmos and the path to enlightenment.
I'm already picturing myself standing at the base of one.
Trying to take it all in.
They sound awe-inspiring.
They are truly magnificent.
The source mentions early stupas at places like Bharat and Sanchi.
Yes.
Were they all built in this elaborate style?
Well, early stupas were relatively simple.
Okay.
The Great Stupa at Sanchi, for example,
Yeah.
was initially a modest brick structure built during Ashoka's reign. But over time, it underwent several expansions,
Like what?
gaining railings, gateways, and intricate carvings.
Gateways are also known as?
Taranas?
So the stupas weren't static,
No, they evolved.
along with the development of Buddhist art and architecture.
Precisely.
Speaking of art,
Yes.
the source also mentions that these stupas weren't just blank canvases. They were adorned with narratives.
Keep stories carved in stone.
I'm picturing scenes from epic tales.
You got it. Early Buddhist art relied heavily on symbols.
Like what kinds of symbols?
Footprints representing the Buddha's presence,
Okay.
the Dharmachakra for his teachings.
Interesting.
But later, a more narrative style emerged,
I see.
depicting scenes from the Buddha's life and the Jataka tales.
Jataka. Remind me what those are again?
The Jataka tales are stories about the Buddha's previous lives,
Oh, right.
before he attained enlightenment.
I see.
They're like fables,
Okay.
often highlighting moral lessons and virtues,
Like,
compassion, wisdom, generosity.
so these stupas weren't just religious monuments.
No, they were much
They were
more.
like visual storybooks.
Teaching people about Buddhist principles through art.
That's
They
brilliant.
made Buddhist teachings accessible to everyone.
Regardless of their literacy.
Exactly. Imagine walking around a stupa,
Okay.
taking in these scenes carved on the railings and gateways. Almost like watching an ancient film strip.
It must have been an incredible experience.
It would have been.
And for those who couldn't read scriptures,
Right.
these visual narratives would have been their window into the world of Buddhism.
Exactly. And the Jataka tales, with their engaging stories and relatable characters,
Yeah.
would have resonated with people from all walks of life.
They were a powerful tool for spreading Buddhist values and teachings.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got these stupas,
Yeah.
layered with symbolism,
Right.
adorned with narratives.
Yes.
But these weren't just spontaneous creations.
No, they required Resources, manpower, planning.
Who are the people behind these monumental projects?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
The inscriptions found at stupa sites reveal a fascinating pattern.
A pattern of...
Collective patronage.
What do you mean?
It wasn't just kings or wealthy elites funding these projects.
Oh, interesting.
You had guilds of merchants, artisans, even ordinary people contributing.
It was a community effort.
Exactly. It speaks volumes about the widespread devotion to Buddhism.
And the importance these stupas held for the community.
They were seen as a collective endeavor, a way for people to earn merit and express their faith.
It's amazing to think about.
How these magnificent structures were the result of so many individuals coming together,
Each playing their part.
in bringing them to life.
It wasn't just about the stones and mortar.
It was about the collective spirit and devotion of the people, absolutely. And while we often focus on the patrons, let's not forget the unsung heroes
Artists and craftsmen.
who poured their skill and creativity into these projects.
Those skilled hands and creative minds that turned these visions into reality.
Exactly. Think about it. Architects designing these complex structures,
Yeah.
sculptors carving intricate narratives,
I see.
stone carvers painstakingly shaping each element.
Wow.
It was a collaborative effort involving a whole range of artistic talents.
And yet, their names are often lost to history.
Sadly, that's true.
Most inscriptions focus on the patrons.
The ones who provided the funding.
Right.
But there are a few precious instances where the names of the artisans are mentioned,
That's amazing.
giving us a glimpse into the human stories behind these grand creations.
The source highlights a couple of names. An artisan who worked at Pitalhora,
And his disciple Balaka.
who contributed to the carvings at Kandang Caves.
It's like a whisper from the past,
Yeah.
reminding us that these weren't just anonymous craftsmen.
They were individuals with names, skills, stories of their own.
Those names, however few,
Yeah.
humanize the entire artistic process.
They remind us that these magnificent structures weren't just decked by faceless masses.
They were the creations of skilled individuals who dedicated their talents to something larger than themselves.
It's like a relay race across time.
I like that.
From the patrons who commissioned the projects,
To the architects who designed them.
to the artisans who brought them to life,
And finally to us.
who marvel at their legacy centuries later.
It's a chain of creativity and devotion that spans generations.
And speaking of legacy,
Yes.
let's shift our focus back to the lion capital of Sarnath.
Okay. The one that's on the Indian flag.
That's got to be a story worth telling.
Absolutely. It's not just a beautiful sculpture.
It's a symbol laden with meaning.
Reflecting a pivotal moment in Indian history.
It was erected by Ashoka to commemorate the Buddha's first sermon.
After achieving enlightenment.
Wow, so it marks the beginning of the Buddha's teachings spreading out into the world.
Exactly.
No wonder it became such a powerful symbol.
And every element of the lion capital is carefully chosen.
To convey that message.
Originally, it had 5 parts.
5 parts.
The shaft, the lotus bell base, a drum adorned with 4 animals, the 4 lions themselves, and a crowning Dharmachakra wheel.
That's quite the elaborate structure.
It is.
So let's break it down.
Okay.
What can we learn from each element?
The 4 lions
Seated back to back.
symbolize the Buddha's teachings reaching all corners of the world.
I like that.
Their lifelike details, the tension in their muscles, the sharp lines of their manes,
Yeah.
all showcase the sculptor's mastery over form and detail.
And that signature Mauryan polish.
Right.
The source mentions how the lion capital gleams, even after centuries.
It's like they wanted to create something that would last forever.
That polish is a hallmark of Mauryan art.
It is.
It's not just about aesthetics.
It reflects the reverence with which these sculptures were created.
They were meant to be admired.
To inspire awe and wonder.
Now, below the lions,
Yes.
there's that platform they're standing on.
the abacus.
That's right, the abacus.
And it's not just a plain slab of stone.
Okay.
It's adorned with 4 chakras, each with 24 spokes, representing the wheel of Dharma.
The core of Buddhist teachings.
And between each chakra, we see those 4 animals again. The bull, horse, elephant, and lion.
Hold on, we saw those animals on the Ashoka pillars too.
We did.
What's the significance of this recurring motif?
It's not just a decorative element.
Right.
It's a deliberate choice.
What does it mean?
Those animals represent the 4 cardinal directions,
I see.
symbolizing the universal reach of the Buddha's message.
It's incredible how much thought went into every detail.
It's like a visual puzzle waiting to be deciphered.
That's what makes studying Mauryan art so rewarding.
Every element, every symbol tells a story.
Sadly, The crowning Dharmachakra wheel is broken now
I know.
and displayed separately in the Sarnath Museum.
But even without the wheel,
Yeah.
the impact of the line capital is undeniable.
It's a testament to the artistic skill and vision of the Mauryan era.
Absolutely. And its legacy continues to inspire.
Speaking of inspiring creations,
Yes.
let's turn our attention to another masterpiece of Mauryan sculpture,
Which one?
the Didargan Yakshini.
Ah, yes.
The Yakshini statue that's so lifelike, it's almost eerie.
She's remarkable.
What makes her so special?
The Didargan Yakshini, housed in the Patna Museum, is a testament to the sculptor's mastery of form and detail.
Okay.
Carved from sandstone and polished to a sheen. She stands tall and confident, holding a fly whisk in her right hand.
The source mentioned her incredible realism.
It's breathtaking.
What makes her stand out in that regard?
The sculptor paid meticulous attention to her anatomy,
Her anatomy.
capturing the curves of her body and the delicate folds of her garments.
That's amazing.
With astonishing realism.
Yeah.
Her rounded cheeks, sharply defined features, and the subtle tension in her stance.
Wow.
It's all incredibly lifelike.
And the drapery.
The way her clothing clings to her body, revealing the contours beneath.
Yeah.
It's as if she's about to step off the pedestal.
And walk right into the museum hall.
That's the magic of Mauryan sculpture.
Is it?
The artists were masters at conveying a sense of movement and life, even in static forms.
They weren't just carving stone, they were breathing life into it.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder what it would have been like to see these sculptures in their original context.
Standing tall amidst the bustling cities and sacred spaces of the Mauryan Empire.
Imagine encountering the Didargan Yakshini in her full glory.
It would have been an awe-inspiring sight.
Okay, so we've seen how the Mauryans excelled in creating grand pillars
Lifelike sculptures.
and symbolic stupas.
They were incredibly talented.
But their artistic ingenuity didn't stop there.
No, it didn't.
They also took on the challenge of carving entire structures out of solid rock.
Rock-cut architecture.
Exactly.
Showcasing a different kind of artistic skill and ambition.
It sounds challenging.
You won.
Instead of building with bricks and mortar,
They carved directly into the living rock.
transforming caves and cliffs into incredible spaces.
For worship, meditation, and artistic expression.
I'm already picturing Indiana Jones exploring those caves. But before we delve into that world of rock-cut wonders,
Okay,
let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
sounds good.
The Mauryan period wasn't just about powerful emperors and vast empires.
It was about much more.
It was a time of incredible artistic innovation.
Fueled by a vibrant mix of religious beliefs and cultural influences. From towering pillars to lifelike sculptures and symbolic stupas,
Yeah.
Mauryan art reflects a unique blend of power, spirituality, and artistic mastery.
And those skills weren't limited to just one material or technique.
No, they weren't.
They mastered the art of working with stone.
Whether it was carving freestanding pillars, shaping delicate figures, or transforming caves into elaborate sanctuaries.
Precisely.
And that mastery is evident in every detail.
From the signature Mauryan polish to the intricate narratives carved on stupas.
To the lifelike realism of sculptures like the Didargan Yakshini.
It's a legacy that continues to inspire and amaze us.
Even after thousands of years.
And speaking of amazing feats of architecture,
Yes.
let's get back to those rock-cut caves.
All right, let's do it.
We're about to embark on a journey into the heart of the mountains,
Where the Mauryans carved out spaces that blend seamlessly with nature.
creating a harmonious fusion of art and the natural world.
I can't wait.
I'm ready for the adventure.
Lead the way. Welcome back. Before the break, we were about to unravel the mysteries of stupas.
Oh, right, stupas.
Now, these weren't just simple piles of earth and brick.
I can imagine.
They evolved into complex structures rich with symbolism.
I'm listening.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Imagine a cosmic layered cake.
A cosmic cake. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right. So the base of this cake is the drum,
The drum.
a solid cylindrical platform representing the earth.
Okay.
On top of that sits the andanda,
The agave?
the hemispherical dome, which symbolizes the cosmic egg or the universe itself.
Oh, I see.
And then
right.
on top of the andanda, you have the harmika,
The harmika.
a square railing enclosing a sacred space,
Okay.
often where relics were placed.
So each layer has a specific meaning.
Exactly, adding to the overall symbolism of the stupa.
Fascinating. The source mentions early examples of stupas at places like Bharat and Sanchi.
Yes.
Were they all built in this elaborate style?
Well, early stupas were relatively simple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Great Stupa at Sanchi, for example.
Yeah. Was initially a modest brick structure
Mm.
built during Ashoka's reign.
Okay.
But over time,
Over time.
it underwent several expansions,
Okay.
gaining railings gateways known as Tiranas and intricate